Hello, we are on day 29 of our reading through passages about affliction and suffering, and we get into the back half of the book of Job with the stories and the speeches of Elihu, chapters 32 to 37. And the speeches of Elihu all put together are longer than many of the New Testament books and several of the Old Testament books as well, so a big chunk of material here. Elihu is an interesting addition to the book because he's not one of the three friends that shows up. He comes out of nowhere, and when he speaks, none of the three friends answer him. Job doesn't answer him, and later God, when speaking against the three friends, doesn't answer him as well. So his stuff may have been put in later. It's very possible that Elihu's actually the author and the one who writes it all down and compiles it all for us. But what he says is also very different than the three friends, because they failed because they kept trying to get Job to confess to something he didn't do. Elihu doesn't come in to address Job's situation and his suffering. Elihu jumps into the conversation to address what Job says about God, and that's what gets him kind of set off. Job keeps saying that he's innocent, that he's been treated unfairly, and this implies then that God is unfair, and that's what Elihu can't stand, is that somebody considers God to be unfair. God is God and we are not. And look in chapter 35, verse 2. Do you think it's just when you say, I am righteous before God? Because Job has no right to say that he is righteous before God if he is implying that God is unjust in punishing him. So we also are not told that Job is being punished. So there's a kind of a misconception behind all of this that is just run through the entire book of Job, that suffering is because of God's punishment. It could be a discipline, it could be an affliction that is used to teach us something else. It's not always a punishment. Sometimes it is. Elihu does give us a great answer as to why God sometimes doesn't answer or seems hidden in 35, verse 12. He doesn't answer because of the pride of evil men. He doesn't listen to empty cries, and the Almighty does not take notice of it. How much less when you complain that you don't see Him and that you're waiting for Him? Because sometimes God just closes us off because of some pride issue in our own life. We always have to deal with those issues in our life. As Elihu continues, he says in verse 36, this is a great verse here, 36:15, God rescues the afflicted by their affliction. The affliction is the means that he uses to rescue the afflicted people. And he instructs us by torment. So difficulties and afflictions and problems in our life can be one of the methods that God is using to teach us something. One of the other things that Elihu does for us is that his speeches prepare us for the speeches of God and for the answers of God. Elihu starts to describe the wonders of God, saying that he understands the rain, the water cycle that we don't understand. So many things of nature that are beyond our ability to grasp. God has them all. He's got control over the lightning and the thunder. He understands how clouds work, and this sets us up for the speeches of God that are coming. Men can't look at the sun. We don't understand its path, and yet the Almighty knows everything, and He is exalted in power. So he closes with a big set of praise to God, and this is where we need to remember things we need to remember as we are in the middle of suffering and affliction. We have to consider God's wonders. Be blessed.